morning, my little dumpster fire babies. How is everyone doing this morning? I hope that today's off to a wonderful, fantastic start. If this is your first time here, hi, my name is Carrington. I would love for you to join this dumpster fire. You can do so by hitting the subscribe button, clicking the little bell to be notified of all my future uploads. If you enjoy this video, definitely make sure you guys give it a thumbs up. Don't forget, go and follow me over on Instagram, and let's go ahead and let's dive on into today's video, which I'm really excited for. I am very excited. I feel like I say like I'm really excited before every video, but truth be told, it's because I'm genuinely excited. Okay, I love makeup. So what are we trying today? Well, Unearthly Cosmetics released some palettes, and it was a very, very popular palette release. It's taken me a while to review it, but I have played in some of these palettes. But they had released 4 palettes that were kind of based on like movies, TV shows, things like that. And when I saw them, I knew I had to have them. Okay, listen, just like anytime Unearthly releases anything, I feel like I have to have them. You know? Yeah, I just feel like I have to have them. So, what are the palettes? Great question. So the first one is going to be called the Weirdos palette. This is based off of the movie The Craft. I like that it kind of like opens like a book. Like it looks like a book. I'm here for that. And then this is the color story. And then you have a full-size mirror like over here. But it's a very, very beautiful color story. They've got really cool names. The next one is the So Strange palette. This is based off of Beetlejuice. And again, another mirror opens like a book. And then here are all of those shades as well. I can see the greens being like a Beetlejuice type theme. The purple as well. But I really would have liked to have seen like a black or a white in here, because I feel like that really gives off like more Beetlejuice type vibe. So that's just one preference. The third one is going to be from the TV show The Munsters. Okay, I loved this TV show. And this is called 1964, which I think is around when The Munsters came out. I used to watch that all the time as a little girl. Again, opens like a book, has a full-size mirror. And then over here, we definitely have some pretty colors. It seems like almost all of the palettes do have some type of green in it. I think I would have appreciated to have seen maybe like a gray, because we have the white, and I feel like a gray would have been really good. I know like this is kind of like a gray, but it's not the kind of gray. Like I want like a black and white theme, because that's what it was released in, was black and white. The blue makes sense. We could have done with maybe like a lighter blue to kind of match her. But, I mean, overall, it's beautiful. And then the last one, this one's even bigger. These ones were all the same size. This one's markedly bigger. And this is called Warms My Blood. And this is based off of Queen of the Damned. That's a really good movie. So then you open it up. Again, a good size mirror. And you definitely get a lot more shades in here. Again, it's really beautiful. I definitely can see this being really Queen of the Damned. You've got like the blacks, you've got like the reds, some oranges, you've got some yellows, you've got some like grays in there, some like deeper, darker tones. So really excited for this. I've played in a couple of these palettes. This one for sure. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a look, 2 looks with each palette, one on each eye. And then I will kind of focus on one palette. So the first one I'm going to start off with is going to be this. We're going to do swatches. We'll do the 2 eye looks. I'll come back with the completed look. We'll then move on to the next palette with swatches, looks, things like that. At the end, I will rank them from my least favorite palette to my most favorite. So let's go ahead. Let's stop blabbing because this is going to be long, and let's just dive on in. Let's start off again with some swatches of the palette. This is for the Weirdos palette. So first up is going to be Invoke. This has like a grayish purple type color, and then it's got some really bright lavender type sparkles in it. Next up is a 3x3. This is a deeper lavender, like it's not like a pastel lavender, but it does have like that lavender type tone to it. Next up is going to be Glamour. So this is a multi-chrome. We've got pink, we've got gold, we've got like an olive type green in here. Next up is He's Sorry. This is a bubblegum pink. Then we have Dangerous type. On camera, this looks very, very pink. This is a like pinky red, but it's much deeper in person and in the pan than this. Next up is I'm Flying. This is another duochrome type shade. It's like a pink with some red in it. Next up is going to be the Weirdos. This is another multi-chrome. This is like some dark deep brown, some purple, and some green in there. Then we have I Bind You. This is a black. We have Power. This is a very light neutral brown. We have Snakes. This is an olive green. Not swatching the best. Then we have Feather. This is kind of like, it's a kind of topperish. It's got like orange in there, some yellow. It has a little bit of like green in there as well. Then the last one is Blvd, and this is kind of like a baby throw up color. But I will say these mattes, these two did. But like these mattes up here just didn't really swatch the best. But that's okay. That's all right. We'll be okay. We'll be all right. So for the first eye look, what do I want to do? I think I want to do like a pinky purple red type look. So I'm going to start off with the shade right here called He's Sorry. I'm going to pack some on my brush. Has just a little tiny bit of fallout or kick up in the pan. Not atrocious. I did tap off my brush, so I did lose quite a bit of like that pink pigment. So I'm going to try just tapping it off once, and then, oh yeah, okay, there we go. So I would say only tap your brush once, not excessively, because you will lose a good portion of the pigment. But it is very nice. It is pigmented. It's nice and it's pink. It's like a good bubblegum pink. And here we go. Just stamp that on and then slowly start to blend. Next shade that I want to go in with is going to be this red shade called Dangerous Type. Let me tell you, it just always feels weird that I am not doing my other eye, because I just want to go over to the other eye and do the exact same thing. So it always just kind of trips my brain out when I do stuff like this. My poor little brain just can't hang. Okay, so upon putting this on the lid, this kind of reminds me of like a really pretty like berry type shade. So definitely pink, but I don't think it's as yeah, it's not as pink as it's appearing on camera. It's definitely has a little bit more purple, a little bit more of that berry to it. So for the outer corner, then I'm going to go into this shade right here called 3x3. And we're going to see how well this goes. Okay. This was a good choice, not going to lie. For my lid shade, I want to go on into this shade right here called Glamorous. It's like the multi-chrome. So I'm going to take that on my finger. I can definitely get it into the, like, you know, inner part of my lid as well. I'm just going to start pressing this in. I did glitter prime my eyelids. Okay, with Thanks Glitter Glue. I will use that for shimmers, glitters, metallics, loose pigments. Whatever you can think of, I will use it for. Alright, that shade was super soft, and again, it comes off pretty, and you can definitely see a little bit of the duochrome, but I like that it has a more heavy of like a purple type base to it, because I feel like it really went with that color really well. I was a little bit nervous that just going based off of what it looks like to me in the pan, which is mostly a green, is not the case. It definitely just leans a little bit more purple, which I am here for. So now let's move on into our other eye, and for this one I want to do kind of a little bit of a grungy green type look. If you are not new here, you will know I love grungy greens. Okay, first of all, I love grungy greens, and I love purples and like pinks. More purples than pinks, but I get both of those with this palette, so I'm super excited. Truthfully. Okay, I'm gonna start off with the shade right here called Blessed Be. Blessed Be the Fruit. Oh, you know what? I hope somebody at some point makes a Handmaid's Tale palette. Literally, that would be the cutest thing ever. That show's wild too. Let me just like break this down. That show is wild. Who here, raise your hand or just comment down below, you know. Have you guys watched Handmaid's Tale? And without any spoilers, what are you guys loving it? Are you not? I just find it to just be just like so wild, but like at the same time, like I don't really know if I could see it like happening in real life, but it's just the fact that like the power that somebody has can really, you know, change things. Anyways, I don't know. Let me know if you guys like it. Next up, we're going to go into the shade right here called Snakes. So far, these are really, I literally keep wanting to go over to that eye. And I'm just going to work on this, blending this, building this. I feel like on camera, it looks really, I don't know, like patchy almost in a way. But in person, it's definitely not patchy. So I'm not sure why on camera it's looking as light and patchy as it is when it's really not like that at all. I don't know. Yeah, it just looks really weird and good. Grungy. Or not grungy, like patchy on camera. But it's actually not. So then for the outer corner, I want to go into I Bind You. It's black. Let's do that. Could have went another direction, but I'm going to go with black. Give them fur. Black is black. Just like this. I love Hocus Pocus. I love it. I love it. I love the original. I struggled with the second one. I really did struggle with it. I'm not going to lie. But the original takes my soul. Next up, I want to take for my lid is going to be the shade right here called the Weirdos. And we're just going to take that, start that off with on my finger, if I can anyways. Okay, there we go. Very interesting. It's cute. Then I want to tap. I want to tap just like a little bit of feather, which is kind of like that topperish. I just kind of want to lightly just tap a little bit. Now it's time to dive on into the lower lash line. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start off with this side over here. And I'm going to just do exactly what I did on the top onto the bottom part of my lid. This definitely creates a lot of kick up with this type of brush, with pencil brush. But I find that to be fairly common with a lot of palettes. So just be mindful. Sometimes your brushes are the reason there's kick up. Okay, alright. Then we're going to move on into that red shade called Dangerous Type, or Berry Shade, or whatever you want to call it. The shade, that's what we're going to go with. It's the shade. And then we'll go into that 3x3 and just smoke it along the edge here. There we go. For the inner corner, I'm going to go into the shade right here called I'm Flying. Let's see how well this works. It's a little bit chunky. So let's see if this is going to work out the way that I would like for it to. Okay, got a little bit more. Just gets so clumpy. Same thing for the other eye. So I'm going to start off with Blessed Be. Blessed be the fruit. May the Lord open. Copyright me, I don't care. Right, and then we'll go into Snakes, which is that darker green in the palette. Smoke it a little bit closer, right up here. And then we'll take that I Bind You black shade and just start right there. Right there, hunty. Okay, I'm going to color switch the brush. And then I'm going to go into feather right here. And hold on, I'm trying to get it picked up. But this is where thine issue lies. Okay, so kind of start going. This one's not nearly as chunky as the I'm Flying. Actually, I'm getting like no chunks from it, and it's picking up on the brush really good actually. So I don't know, maybe it's just the other shade, a little bit crumbly. So here is the completed and final look using the Weirdos palette. What do you guys think of the two looks? I either need someone to either talk me down the ledge or just like push me off, whichever. This lip is part of like one of the Give Me Glow lip kits. So I used the liner, I used the liquid lipstick, and I used the gloss. I don't know if I love it. I don't know if this is a color that's meant for me. I really feel like it would probably go really well with like this eye look, but like even then, like, do I look okay with this lip color? Like, do I not? Like, someone tell me. Does it look good? Does it not? Okay, either talk me off the ledge or just push me off. One or the other, but I need to know. So this Weirdos palette so far is pretty cute, pretty good. I love the color story. I really loved that you get a lot of duochromes, multi-chromes, things like that. They were really easy to work with, no problems, no issues. I think they both came out great. I'm super happy. I love that it opens like a book. I love the craft, so I love like the names and things like that. So let's go ahead, let's move on to the next palette. We're now going to go ahead and dive on into the, if I can hold it up, 1964 palette, which is inspired by the Munsters. I really loved this show growing up. I really, really did. Again, this is what the color story looks like, and so we've got some swatches to do. So first up right here is we have Herman. This is kind of like a pastel kind of a green. Then we have Munsters, which is more of kind of like a highlighter yellow. We have Vampire, which is just like a green with some like blue flecks in it. We have 1964, which is like a deeper blue and it has like a shift to like a lighter blue. We have Mockingbird Lane, which is a white. We have Transylvania, which is just a basic blue. We have Dragula, which is a deep brown, deep cool tone brown. We then have 1313, which is kind of like a lavender. We then have Lily. These two right here are very chunky. So it's pink with like some rose gold types of shifts in it. And then we have this one, which is a little bit more red-ish, like more berry. And in here you have gold flakes. Moving on is Family Portrait, which is like a salmon type color. And then you have Werewolf, which is like a basic neutral brown. So I really want to use the blue, and I don't ever usually normally wear blues, so I must be broken. I want to set my eyelids, so I'm going to go into that shade Mockingbird Lane. Usually I will use a translucent powder to just kind of set whatever eye primer, but I feel like this could be a really good shade to set your makeup with and to help it pop just like a little bit more. I feel like my lid got the bulk of the white. There we go, just like so. So we're gonna start off with Werewolf. That's what I want to start with, is Werewolf. I really would have appreciated a like lighter blue, but anyways, so I've got that on a brush, and I'm gonna start in the crease and then just start blending everything upwards like so. Just gonna take it a little bit of time to get where I need it to go. Okay, so out of all of these palettes here, so we have Beetlejuice, we have Queen of the Damned, we have the Munsters, and we have the Craft. Of all of those, what one is your favorite? Even if you've only seen one, what's your favorite? And if you've seen multiple, which one's your least favorite? Also, can we sit here and talk about, I feel like we have to talk about this. Talk about how Netflix It's always freaking Netflix. That's where the issue is that it's always freaking Netflix. Okay. The next shade I want to go into, men, will be, this is where thine hard part lies. I guess we can go ahead and go on into that blue Transylvania. I was over at a friend's house one time, and we had seen that there was like a Monsters like movie. I don't know why they keep butchering movies. For the sake of what? I don't know. But they do. Okay, I think I'm going to add a little bit of 1313, which is more of that purple shade. Right in here. With the blue. I think that'll be kind of pretty. Yeah, it kind of changes the color to like a little bit of like a periwinkle. Which I'm here for. I'm here for. Hello. Thank you for coming. But anyway, so yeah, we were going to watch the Monsters movie. It was awful. I don't think there's anything else I can say besides it was awful. Like, I'm still trying to find a redeeming quality about this movie. If you guys have seen that, let me know. Do you guys also hate it? But, okay, so to answer my own question, though, my all-time favorite movie, out of all of these, it's really hard for me to pick between The Craft and Queen of the Damned. I think I'm going to go with Queen of the Damned for that one. And I'm just going to go dive on into my brush with just the Transylvania shade. Hopefully we can really get that good impact on. And then I would have to say probably my least favorite out of all of them is, this is hard. Craft and Queen of the Damned were my top. I love Beetlejuice, but I feel like I would put this one last. But okay, I am gonna put it last. I'm gonna put it last. I think the struggle for me was, this was like when I was little, a show that would come on and me and my family would watch it together. And that's one of the good memories that I have with like my family. There's not a lot, so being able to have that, so I feel like I have like a connection to it. But also I really did find that it was pretty good. You know, it was a pretty decent show. But I think I will just mark this as my least favorite show. Now, as for palette, I don't know yet. Okay, we're still working. So then for the shimmer, I have already discussed, I really want to go into this like bluish, tealish, light blue kind of a shade, right? Oh my gosh. Oh, Merry Christmas. Oh, hello there, my sweet child. Like, hello. Are we seeing this? Are we seeing this? That is beautiful. Okay. Wow. You get a little bit more in the corners and up towards the top. Oh my gosh. So I'm going to start with the shade Monsters right here. I've color switched my brushes. And we're just going to start, I think, stamping this. Might be a good way to start. Yeah, it's going to be a good way to start. Because my brush is coated with, like, you know, pigment. But because this is very much like a highlighter yellow kind of a color, it's going to take a minute. It's going to take a little bit of time, a little bit of packing, a little bit of, like, you know, coaxing, trying to start a conversation, like, how's the ranch? How's your dad? Did Miss Muffet finally leave her tuffet? You know, Just like basic questions you would ask people. So we're now going to go on into the shade right here, Herman Munster. And we're just going to start bringing that. What is happening here? Okay. Alright, so I've picked up a good amount of product, and now I'm going to like focus this in like the crease. It's just... Okay, yeah, so this is just very, like, very pastel. Very pastel. So, if you guys are not like huge pastel fans, I don't know if this is going to be the palette for you. It's not a bad palette. It's not bad quality. This is actually really good quality for some of the pastels that I have used in my time of being a YouTuber / makeup concierge. I think I started my YouTube channel beginning of 2021. But I've been buying makeup like a psychotic person since 2017. So, you know. Okay. This look is just not giving me a lot of vibes. So, I'm going to go into the shade Dragula. And, okay, what is going on with this palette? Like, I'm literally having to pick up so much product to get it to work. I don't know if it's like because we use the shadow as like a base, or like I'm really disappointed in this look over here, truthfully. Okay, you know, you win some and you lose some. That's the point of like trying to make a million different looks, is because you win some and you lose some. So for shimmer, I'm going to go on into the shade right here, Vampire. Oh boy. Okay, hopefully this comes out pretty. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty. I would say it's not like the blue in any way, shape, or form. Just working on packing that up. So now we're going to move on into the lower lash line. So I am going to do, with this eye, I'm going to go into that 1313 shade, which is like that purpley shade. I will smoke that out. I don't really want anything like too exaggerated on my lower lash line, truthfully. And then I'll go into that Transylvania, which is that blue shade. And I'll smoke that Transylvania all over and focus it a lot on like that outer corner. I'm going to take Family Portrait, which is more of like that salmony color, but we have not used yet. And I'm just going to start smoking that out. Looks almost kind of like watermelon. That's where I'm going with this, I guess. Right, just like so, a little watermelon. And then I'll take Werewolf, which is that deeper type of brown. Run it about halfway on my lash line, and then focus it on like the outer portion a lot. It's going to then be our inner corner. So over on this side, I'm going to try out Lily. Now these are very, very chunky shades, so it's kind of hard to get a lot if any product up with these. So I'm going to assume, or I'm just going to say, it's probably not going to be the best fit if you are wanting to do like an inner corner. I am slowly learning this. Yeah, no, it literally just stuck in one spot. Oh Lord. Okay, and then we'll move on for the other side. We'll move into Maryland. This has a little bit of green in it, but once again, it's just so chunky, it's just not really picking up. So I would not recommend these for the inner corner. Just to clarify, if I were to use these, I would 100% glitter glue and use your finger and just realize that it is a very chunky formula. It's quite chunky. Full of shine, full of sparkle, but definitely chunky and definitely not for the inner corner. So here's the completed and final look using the 1964 palette. Again, as much as I love this TV show, I just kind of felt like this palette left a lot to be desired. I did not care for the greens. The white, I liked the white. I liked the blue. I liked this shade. I liked that shade. The Werewolf shade was also kind of hard to use. These two are very chunky. You can't use them on the inner corner, but these are so... Okay, first of all, this blue shade stole the show. Like, that's beautiful. The green was a little bit iffy to work with, but what I will say is, like, there's nothing that's light that you could put on your inner corner, minus, like, using the white shade. So I usually like something a little bit more sparkly than just, like, a white matte shade on my inner corner, so that's just something that's, like, my personal preference. I know tons of people who will gladly put white eyeshadow as their inner corner. I'm just not one of them. But let's go ahead and let's move on into the next palette. Let's go ahead and move on into the Beetlejuice palette. Again, opens like a book, mirror, and here is the color story. So let's go ahead and we will do some swatches for this palette. So first up, right here is going to be Dark Room. This is like a black, silver, gunmetal type of shade. Next up is Afterlife. This is a like bubblegum pink, some berry, and some red sparkles mixed throughout. Next up is, oh my gosh, what does this say? Oh, okay, Betel Guys. And this is like just a classic green. Up next we have Sandworm. This is a gray green. Then we have Miss Argentina. This is a hot pink. We have Draw a Door, which is like a highlight green. We then have Shrunken Head. This is a orange with like a little bit of some yellow golden sparkles in there. We have Scared of Sheets. This is a it's kind of like silver and it has a green shift to it. We have So Strange, which is a deep dark purple. We have Bride, which is a reddish, it's like orange and you add just like a little bit of red to it. And then we have this right here called Unusual, which is a gold with a green and like pink type of shift. And last is It's Showtime. This is more of like a berry, like a lighter type of berry. I first want to start off with the shade right here called Sandworm. And that's that like purplish yet gray type of shade. I really coated my brush. And again, I focus in the crease and above, almost to my brow bone, because literally I have no space. I have no space at all. So I'm just going to sit here and work on this. So far, it's really pretty. It's showing a lot more pigment in person than it is on camera. So be mindful of that, but I am going to stamp to try to bring in some more color. Next up, I want to take the time, take the shade. It's Showtime. Woof, woof. It's Showtime. The shade I'm going to go into next and focus that in the crease yet above a little bit, not as high up. Like I still want to be able to see it, but I don't want to take away from the first shade either. Then for the outer corner, I'm going to go into So Strange. What I want to do with this is something a little different. So I want to take that shade Dark Room, which is this really pretty like gunmetal. Wow. Wow. Just give me a minute. Just give me a minute. I am wow. Wow. That's pretty. Like, wow. Wow. Do you see that? That is miraculous. Okay, then I'm going to take a little bit of Scared of Sheets. And I just want to kind of dabble it over the top. I don't want a ton. I just want to dabble just a little bit. That's that. Ma'am, right, so let's move on to the other eye. As you can tell, the shade is just so chunky. It's a lot. It's a lot. Okay, what do I want to do for this eye? Okay, I'm going to start off. I'm going to go into Miss Argentina. This is the hot pink. The vibe that Barbie was always meant to. Wow, this is pigmented. I was not planning for this to be as pigmented because, you know, the other shades weren't really that pigmented. This one was. It always happens. That's how it always works. That's how it always works. It's just trying to plan my freaking demise. That's what it is. Okay, so then I'm going to take this shade right here, Bride. I'm going to be a little bit more careful with this. But anyways, seriously. See? I do pick up, like I did the other one, and then I freaked out, so I didn't pick up near as much, but still coated my brush. And now, here we are. Next up, I'm going to go to the shade Beetlejuice. I think it might be where we're trying to pronounce Beetlejuice, but like maybe we can't for whatever reason. I don't know. And we're going to go a little bit watermelon-ish on here, but I do want to try to utilize as many colors as I can so we can definitely see how well they perform. This again is a shade that's just going to need to be packed on and really built up. I completely totally coated my brush and, you know, still working on the building a little bit here. Okay, and I'm just gonna bring it over right here into like my socket. So for my lid shade, I want to go into the shade here called Afterlife, and we'll take that and I will start dabbling that on the eyes. This is definitely not like the gunmetal ones. I kind of wish they were all the same, like felt the same, performed the same. But that gunmetal shade is to die for. So beautiful. Then I want to take, okay, this might be a disaster, this might be a bad choice, but I'm going to take Unusual, which is like that yellowish green kind of shade, and just kind of just tap over it. Not a lot, but just some. So here is the completed and final look using the So Strange palette. What do you guys think? I'm here to tell you I am obsessed with this dark room shade that's on this lid, topped with Scared of Sheets. I'm obsessed. I can't even tell you how much I'm obsessed. The Miss Argentina was super pigmented. The greens, not so much. And then the red wasn't super intense either, but like the rest of it, like it's so beautiful. I think they did a great job with this palette. I love Beetlejuice. It's a classic movie, right? Like, it's a classic. It's now time to move on into the last and final palette, which is Warms My Blood. So this is significantly larger, has significantly more pans, and this is based on the Queen of the Damned movie. So we're gonna go ahead, kick off, same as we did the other palette, with some swatches. So here we go. First, we have the shade Drake. This is like an orangish yellow. Next up, Forsaken, which is a black. Then we have Jessie, which is a green, gold, silver. Next up, we have Awaken. This is kind of a champagne green shift and a little bit of purple. Next up is Betrayal. This is a deep berry type shade. We have Alone. This I would call like a medium neutral type of brown. We then have Queen, which is like a pretty like pink, purple, gold kind of a moment. We then have Akasha, which is a gold. Moving on, this one didn't swatch very well. This is Lestat. This is a gray. And then we have Mother. This is what I would call a medium terracotta. Then we have Immortality. This is just like a red shimmer. We then have Charms, which is a multi. This is like has a black and olive and kind of like a purple to it. Then we have Resurrect, which is kind of a just normal purple. Then we have Violin. So this is a light, neutral leaning warm brown. Then we have Centuries. This is an olive with gold. Next up we have Admiral's Arm. This is primarily silver. There is a little peak, and you can see it more in the pan than you can on camera, of like an olive green. Then we have Marius. This is like a deeper, more blue tone type red. We then have a white, which you may not be able to see, which is Stone. Then we have Human. This is a bronze pink type of shade. Oh, I think I just caught the pink, like right there. So yes, a bronze pink. And then last up is going to be Worship. This is another shimmer. This is a brown with a gold and somewhat purple type of shift. So we are going to start with that white shade Stone, so I can go ahead and set my eyelids. Since I did prime, I always prime, but you know, just in case. And does do a really good job of really like coating the eye in white. I'm going to go ahead and start off with the shade right here called Lestat. This is what we're going to do for our more like cool tone purple look. So I'm just going to start. Okay. I'm going to say it, and it's probably me. It's kind of coming off a little bit patchy, but I've played with this palette before, so I know that it's not. I think the issue is that my eyes from doing so many videos are honestly so worn out, like so like in pain and dry, that it's kind of creating a little bit of what would look like a patchiness, but this actually is not a patchy shade. I played with it before. I'm just going to sit here and I'm just going to work on, you know, blending with the dryness that we have going on, especially like right here. Do you see that? It's just not going to stick, and it's nothing to do with the shadows. It has everything to do with the fact that, again, from doing this for, you know, for 4 palettes now, my eyes are just like, we're done, Matilda, we're done. So then we're going to move on into this Resurrect shade, and I'm going to put that into like my crease area, just like right here. Work on that into the crease and up just a little bit, ever so slightly. This is what I'm wanting, just something like this. I think I'm going to go into the shade right here called Alone. That's what I'm going to do for my outer corner with this, just to keep it cool tone to theme, and then just kind of run it. I'm not having issues with any of the mattes, including the colorful mattes. So far so good. So far so good. So I'm going to start off with the shade right here called Charms, and I want to focus that on like the center to outer portion of my eye. Just going to tap that over my NYX glitter glue. So then for the inner portion, I'm going to go into the shade right here called Queen. We're going to see how else goes, and that's going to be the, wow, okay, that's really pretty, like, hello, Captain. And then I'll just lightly tap anything I have left over onto that other shade, but wow. So now I want to do something a little bit more warm toned on this eye. So I'm going to start off with the shade right here called Violin. Let me play my violin for you. My daughter's obsessed with that song. So like she's going through any TikTok she can. No, not TikTok, YouTube videos. That obviously she's allowed to watch because it's parental locked. But to find that song and watch them do, you know, like hacks or you know, complete a mission or something in like Minecraft or whatever, and just play that song on repeat. So now I am listening to it on repeat. What a glorious day. Okay, that's a really pretty shade. I am not experiencing any patchiness. Super easy to use. Pigmented. So then we're just going to move right on up the ladder. Next up, I'm going to go into the shade right here called Mother. And that's going to be in my crease. And a little bit above. Like so. So for the outer corner, I'm going to take the black shade Forsaken. We're going to get some on a brush. I'm going to start trying to tap that off onto the eye. For shimmers, I'm going to start off with this shade right here called Centuries. And I'm just going to start that on the center to outer portion of my eye. Like some of the shimmers are just like wow as soon as you put them on. Some of them, like this one over here, the first one, it does take a little bit of building. So next up, we're going to go into the shade right here called Jessie. Now this is a little bit more of a crumbly type shade. We're just going to start it here. Just kind of marry the two together. Oh yeah, those go really well together. So let's start busting into, that was probably the most cringe thing I've ever said, to the lower lash line. So for this side over here, I'm going to start with Betrayal. That is a darker purple that we did not use in the original look. So I figured we could try it out here. Okay. Is there another shade I really want to use? Use that. Okay. I think I'm going to leave it just this purple. Actually, I'm going to take a little bit of Forsaken. And kind of just run it there. Okay, so for the other side, I'm going to start off with the shade Drink. This is one of the lighter, this is the lighter of the reddish colors that we have. And I don't know how well this is like going to look. It's okay. Then I'll go into Marius, which is that deeper type of red. And just kind of smoke it all out. Okay. Now I need to choose inner corners. I feel like that's where the hard part's gonna lie. Okay, let's try, for this side, let's try Human. It may not, you know, really go, but okay. Anyways, this is like a very, again, it's kind of a chunkier formula, but I will say it's not as chunky as some of the others that we have tried. Okay, and then for the other side, I'm going to try the shade Akasha. Like this more like golden type shade, because I feel like we have some gold on the eye, and I think that this could tie in nicely. Yeah, that's really nice. And this shade isn't really one of those like super crumbly shades. So here's the completed and final look using the Warms My Blood palette. I am obsessed. I will say. I really like this side a lot. I like that really nice like cool toneness. I do like this side as well, like don't get me wrong. I like it, but I was like really impressed at how well this came out and how much I absolutely love it. I do. I think it's so beautiful. Okay, so we have gone through 4 palettes now. 4 whole entire palettes. So now we're going to rank the palettes from my least favorite to my most favorite. Coming in last place is going to be the 1964 palette. This really just didn't give me a lot to be desired for. This blue shimmer though, 10 out of 10. Like that's a beautiful blue shimmer. And then in terms of like the greens, they're just so very pastel. It took a lot of building, it took a lot of blending to get them to even show up. I do like the white. The shade Werewolf, it was a little bit hard to work with as well. This shade was perfect, this shade was perfect, this shade worked fine. I really liked being able to take these two together and kind of make like a periwinkle type shade. And then the only other two that you have option-wise are ones that are very, shimmer-wise are like very chunky, or you have this one where it just like isn't like swatching anywhere near as well. Like that, like look at these, look at that. There's a market difference. I love the Munsters, I absolutely do, but this color story, just for me personally, and the formulas that are in here, just kind of missed the mark in compared to some others. So in third place is going to be the So Strange palette, which is kind of like a Beetlejuice palette. Again, the greens in here is just, it's really what's giving me the issue are the greens. Again, you do have some crumbly type shades. This shade's super pigmented. This shade, not so much. The two purples are really nice. The pink Sandworm is really nice, but this shade right here, Dark Room, stunning. Absolutely stunning. I could honestly see this, man, no, I think I'd still put it in third place. If the shades performed how I would like them to. But you know, this might be a color story that screams to you. You might be wanting to work with the formula. You know, whatever floats your boat. For me, that's just third place. Next up in second place is going to be the Weirdos, which is based on the craft. I love this palette. I loved it. I have no issues with any of the shades in here. None whatsoever. There are some crumbly shades, okay? But I am obsessed with like these two shades. This shade is really beautiful. This shade is pretty. So is this. And all the shades worked really well. I liked both of the eye looks that I created. I really loved like the grunge green with some black on the outer corner. That's what I like more than like bright greens. It's something a little bit more grunge is what I like, and this gives it to me. It gives me purples, which is again other shades that I like. It's a little bit more cool tone, which for my skin tone I do prefer some cool tone. And again, I didn't have any issues with any of the mattes or the shimmers. So that's number 2. And then number 1 is going to be the Warms My Blood. I love this palette. I love it. I love the way that it's set up where you have all of your mattes right here and you have shimmers. So you have the same amount of shimmers that you do mattes. The mattes perform beautifully. They were absolutely beautiful. I love how you could go a purple route. You could go a more cool tone route. You could go a more warm tone route. You could go a red route. I will say with the reds, because I have used them before, they come out on the eyes very, very pink. Very pink. So if you are wanting something that is going to be more of like that red, not so blazing hot pink, like it looks just like blazing hot pink. It just does. This is not going to be the palette to use those with. I think these are beautiful to like incorporate somewhere with the other looks. But as for doing just a plain red look, I have done that. I did not care for it, truthfully. But all of the shimmers are so good. The mattes are really great. But that is it for today's video. Testing out and making looks with the new Unearthly cosmetics that are based off of based off of movies. This was so fun to film. I really love Unearthly Cosmetics. They are a great brand. I will link down below what they have available on their site. I know right now they said they were taking a little bit of a break. I don't know when they're going to open back up, so I'm still waiting for that. But if there's anything by the time this video needs to go live, which will be in a few days, I'll see if possibly there's anything else on here that we can do. But what palette was your favorite? What look was your favorite? Honestly, I am obsessed with this eye look right here. Like, I am obsessed. Based on all the other ones that we have, I'm so obsessed with this. Love this. Love it, love it, love it. Let me know what you guys think down below. What's your favorite palette? Let me know. Sound off in the comments. Me, 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 me. Sound off. Don't forget, if you enjoyed this video, definitely give this video a thumbs up. If you have not yet subscribed already, I invite you to do so you can join the Dumpster Fire family. And I'm going to see everybody in my next one. Bye.